Oh, hi there. So today I wanted to talk about coffee addiction and autism.
Okay, coffee time, double shot.
And you might wonder, what does have one to do with the other? I mean, a lot of neurotypical people are addicted to coffee, and a lot of people with autism don't drink coffee at all. However, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience and how I think both are connected. And really, like by the time I quit my last job, I was like on a habit of like drinking Starbucks quintuple espresso every single day. And I don't know how much caffeine is in those things, but I swear there's something that Starbucks does to its coffee where it's like especially addicting. Because in that job I had to travel. It was super stressful. I felt I could only do it with coffee. And then when I was like, I remember one time I had to travel to Salt Lake City in the middle of winter, and the hotel only had like so coffee, and I walked several blocks in driving snow with some homeless person shouting obscenities, and so I could walk to the near Starbucks and get my quintuple shot espresso. And then sometimes during the day, like I would nurse that cold espresso, and then when I would run out, I sometimes would have to get another espresso. Yeah, big time coffee addicted, and was dealing with so many issues, like several times a month, like terrible headaches. And I realized, yeah, I had to wean myself off this level of coffee addiction. So I did a lot of research in it, and a very surprising thing that came up in a lot of the videos I watched where people were quitting coffee was that they said coffee made them do things they didn't want to do. And that is so true. Like if you drink coffee, you know that if you feel you just can't do that tax return now, if you have a triple shot espresso, you can tackle it. And there's something where, if you have autism, to just function in the workplace, you might have to constantly push yourself to do things that are very, very difficult. From meetings to phone calls to all kinds of interaction, or even just on a day when you feel super stressed out and anxious and just want to be by yourself, to push yourself and go out there and do the job. And I found that coffee was the drug of choice. Coffee did that for me. And of course, it's a stimulant. So I've never taken like illegal drugs. I know there's like illegal stimulants that people get addicted to, and I have a feeling, maybe that's related, because there are even certain industries like finance industries and such where abuse of stimulants is like super common. But yeah, coffee makes you things you maybe just feel very reluctant to do, and it can be very hard to wean yourself off. Now, you might ask, okay, why do if I quit Starbucks, yeah, why do I still have old cups? It's an autistic thing. So I still had them like somewhere in my kitchen cabinet, because sometimes if I would brew a strong coffee at home, I would actually like to drink it out of an espresso cup. So I still had those, but I should really throw those away. But anyway, yeah, so I haven't been back to Starbucks in a long time, and I completely quit coffee for a long time as well. I didn't do it cold turkey. I really do think it's good if you are used to brewing coffee at home. Buy maybe high quality decaf beans, and then just mix more and more into your regular coffee beans. Brew your coffee, and stay away from Starbucks, and then maybe you can quit cold turkey at a point where you're actually not consuming that much strong coffee anymore anyway. So I did that, and I completely quit coffee for a while, several months, and that was very good, and it felt very empowering, and my headaches went away. So it was really, and my stomach problems too, because it really tears up your stomach if you're constantly like sipping espresso on an empty stomach with that acidity and stuff. So it made me feel a ton better. Now, did I quit coffee forever? a lot of people on YouTube do that, but in the end, I felt. I think it was when I felt felt a little bit. I had like a cold, or it really helps when you're feeling sick, when you have that strong, small cup of coffee that can make you feel 100 times better. So I think at the point where I was feeling like physically a bit ill, I had a coffee again. I was like, okay. And then I started having coffee again, still very diluted with decaf beans, but I started having, a couple cups of coffee again in the morning as I started my work. And yeah, that's one of my few pleasures of life, to, in the morning, to have that cup of coffee and to suddenly feel that boost of energy and tackle my work. And so I have not quit coffee forever, but I've cracked down on it totally, and I think that's such a valuable thing to do. And if you think you're on the spectrum and you're addicted to coffee, or I would even say, if you're in the workplace and you have that coworker that constantly drinks a ton of coffee or espressos, looking back, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable that everybody always laughed about, oh, there's her with her, quadruple or quintuple shot of espresso again, and not that they kind of didn't even see that, yeah, this was like not very healthy, not very good. And of course, people always wear their coffee addiction almost as a badge of honor, especially in IT. It's like, oh, you drink coffee all day. And
Another busy day? Of course it is. You're a CIO in 2022. So what's on the agenda? IP Converge Network. Whoa, that is big. Okay, coffee time, double shot. Deal with a potential breach.
That makes you a great worker because you're always on, but that is really, it's a toxic attitude. And if I were a boss these days and I had somebody working for me who would constantly drink Starbucks espressos, I would maybe feel like to have a conversation with them if they, if I could maybe help them with their work schedule, where they can plan in a bit more downtime, where they don't feel they have to drink that coffee all the time. But if you're older like me, it's really amazing, because when I came to the States in the 90s from Germany, I was devastated, because there was no good coffee to be had anywhere. You had the drip coffee, Folgers or whatever, and that was it. Then Starbucks just took off, and it doesn't surprise me. But I think it's kind of funny that our workplaces have changed. Now coffee addiction has taken off that much, where a lot of people feel they just have to go to Starbucks to get their fix. So a thing to think about, most of all, coffee makes you do things that, maybe your brain tells you, oh no, I don't want to do this, and then you drink a coffee and then you can do it. Make sure you don't abuse this too much, and then just be very wary. If you have stomach problems or if you have migraine headaches, I recommend just cutting out coffee completely for a while and see if that fixes things. And that can be the most difficult thing in the world, but it's so worth it. And all right, so that's just my experience. And hope that helped somebody and maybe encouraged you in 2023. It's now like the beginning of the year. If you want to pick up a good habit and cut down on your coffee consumption, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of money saved too. So let me go now, and I'll throw those old Starbucks cups away, and hope you have a great day, and see you in the next video. Bye.